Hey up Photo Pips, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. I just want to go over a few things. While I was on my Iceland trip, I actually dropped my 100-400mm FUJI lens. It doesn't retract back to 100 unless you hear that? So now what you've got to do is you've got to try and find
where the
there. So now that's all in line and I can lock it. It did go with a bang, but it seemed to land like dead flat like that, and I thought no more of it because I just gave it a quick once over and thought yeah, that'll be okay. Then one evening I ventured down to a beautiful cove where the sun is setting at the back of Kirkenfell, and I could not open the lens. Camera came up with the message turn on, turn back, turn off, turn back on. Did that, nothing. So I got in touch with FujiFilm via email, booked the 100-400mm, and it seems to be you pay for a product. So unfortunately for me, that was the dearest lens, is £200. It seems to be you pay for a assignment, and no matter what's in that assignment, they fix it for said amount. So if it's just something completely stupid and it hardly needs any attention, it's £200. If it needs new glass or something inside, it's £200. That's it. So they must have hundreds of spares sitting in a drawer somewhere. But yeah, so the next stage now is for me to wait for the packaging to arrive via their courier. I don't know if I've got to box it up straight away, give it back, or I box it up and then send it to the couriers, and I have to wait. But the turnaround on the forums is roughly about a week. So I'm looking at a week from when I get the package in. That's what I'm waiting for. So I'm going to check in when I get that package in. I'm now at the second stage where I've sent my email off. I've now received the packaging, which is here. That was basically one working day. I'm just going to crack it open, see what we've got inside. So this should be the safe packaging for me to now send off to FujiFilm. The other thing they send you is a PDF, and in this PDF, all it basically is a letter with the fault that you've described and your return address. So it's your address and phone number and all the information that you gave when you first registered your fault. That's easy enough. So that's going to have to go in there with the lens. So we've got a little bit of airbag packaging. We've got a nice little FujiFilm box. Now I'm hoping that the lens is going to fit in there because I can't retract it back. There's some important information. I'm going to have a quick read through this and then I'll get straight back to you. Let's have a look what we've done so far. Saturday I sent the email. They sent me a reference, a PDF file which I needed to download or print out. Then I've received the packaging. The information's inside there, so when he opens up the box he'll see what the fault is. So with that said and done, everything's ready to go. The lens is in the box. I've got the return bag here with Fuji's address on, which is FujiFilm UK Limited, Camera Services Department, Unit 13, St Martin's Way in Bedford. So the only thing left to do now is to bag it, get down the post office. Thank you, mate. Is that it? Is that my receipt? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Take care, mate. Thank you. Watch your fingers. Take it easy, mate. Text message. Another text message. So it's back. The lens is back. So I'm going to do a quick unboxing just to see how it comes back from FujiFilm and the condition it's in, if it's repaired. Now you've followed this story all the way through, and here it is, the end, nearly the end result. Then the end result will be when I take it out and I do some photography and we check the images to make sure that it's 100%. That's going to be coming up next. But until then, let's get this unboxed. I am apprehensive, I am excited. I guess it's just down because you want it to be right. You want it to be 100% back to where it was before the accident. But accidents happen. That's why we have insurance. Insurance company were brilliant. It was them that actually says take it to Fuji and see if you can get it repaired. So there's the box that we sent it back in, but this time we've got an extra elastic band. So thank you FujiFilm for that. Voila. I am very apprehensive. Oh, I'm shaking. Oh, got some paperwork. I think I'm going to need this for the insurance. Get rid of these laggy bands. Hopefully this is going to give us all the information that I need for the insurance. So what we got here, a breakdown as well of so it's got my address, it's got the billing address, it's got an account number with no account, bill to reference, purchase order, none of that. It's got FujiFilm reference number, it's got that, it's got a model description. So it says, we regret that you had to send your product to us for repair. However, we are pleased to return it to you in full working order. Material code, and we've got parts and labour, £166.67. The net was £166.67. Along with the beautiful thing of VAT, it came to £200. So that will be sent to the insurance company, which is my invoice. Now, I have heard stories about FujiFilm and about the condition your equipment can come back in. Well, it's certainly in a different box of packaging. Sure, that's for the truth. They sent it back with its lens cap, because after I sent it I'd realised, and I was a little bit concerned about that. But yeah, it's back. Condition, doesn't seem to be any scratches or any damage on it whatsoever. One of the things that I did hear about what happens when you send stuff to FujiFilm, that somebody says that they've got a load of dust in theirs, but I've got a nice bright light there. I'm just going to shine it in. Nothing, not a speck. It looks absolutely perfect. Didn't like the sound of that. No, same again. Looks perfect. For some reason, when they sent it back, they didn't lock it down. Maybe it's just me being overprotective. but I do treat my lenses and all my kit really rough, and I don't do it on purpose neither. It's not something that I go out to do. It's the fact that I just love my equipment, and it has to be used, and it has to be used in a certain way, and that way is it's got to work, and it's got to do the job that I want it to do. And if it doesn't and it breaks, then it's not adequate. Now this was an unfortunate accident, nothing down to the way I treat my kit, nothing whatsoever. I expect kit to get banged and knocked. I try my best to keep it in a situation where I can keep it in good working order, but this was a complete and utter accident. It was just one of those things. So it's back, it's unboxed. I'm going to put the hood back on, I'm going to put the collar back on, and we'll see how it goes. We'll get out and we'll shoot. Join me. So I'm here at Bradgate Park. We're going to test this lens. Let's just see what the repair is actually like. What better place to be in than Bradgate Park for some zoomed in, close up deer photography. Keep your fingers crossed. Literally just come through the gates there, and we've got some deer here already, look. What a great place just to test the lens straight out the bag. Look at that. Everything I photographed today is going to be handheld. I'm just using the Peak designed slingshot strap just hung over my shoulder, but other than that, the video through the X-T2 using the 100-400mm lens is all going to be handheld. Just to test as well the image stabilization, which in this lens is absolutely superb. It basically gives you 8 stops. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm just looking at these deer now, and you know, you could just stay here all day watching them. They're absolutely brilliant. There's a wee one there, very small, very young, and its ears are just pricking up completely all the time. It's just so wondering what's going off, but the other one seems so happy, and there's a little crow there on the back of a deer. Happens quite a lot. So I'm right out at 400 and I'm shooting in video mode. The grass seems to be causing a little bit of a problem. Zoom in, I'm actually at 200, so I'm just going to whack it straight in at 400, see how we get on. Just stood up, I took some shots, and it just grabbed onto the focus perfectly every time. So I guess it was just the long grass that was interfering with the focus. I'm just going to take some stills now, see how we get on. So far so good. I'm happy with the photography side of it, but the videography side of it, I'm just still not 100% sure. Maybe it's just me being a little bit unstable, but we'll give it another couple of goes, see how we get on. There's some ducks down here, they could be quite interesting. Small, hard to grab hold of, but we'll see how it gets on. So we're at one of the weirs, the first weir where the ducks like to sort of hang out and mingle. You've got a few seagulls, and I've just seen a heron, a white heron, pure white. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to try and keep my eye on that. I know it's obviously hungry, looking for some fish, so we'll keep them peeled, and hopefully if we're lucky, a kingfisher, which is one of the bucket list items to take, because I have seen it here before but didn't get the opportunity to photograph it. But yeah, weir number one. Let's try some of that video on some of these seagulls. We'll stick it in the slow-mo mode so we can capture them in nice slow motion. So one of the things I did love about this lens was its snappy focusing. Absolutely stunning. So I'm going to test that next on these little seagulls that are popping up and down on this water. Shouldn't be too tricky, but it's a test nonetheless. So I'm right out at 400 and I'm just going to take some images of each and every single one from back to front. So I got it on continuous now, so it's literally grabbing anything that's in the middle of the frame. So I'm going to go for a single shot and we'll see how it picks up each individual seagull. So I've put it back on continuous and it's grabbed every single frame perfectly. I love this camera, I love this lens. I'm glad it's repaired, I'm glad it's back. So I'm here at another weir. Absolutely stunning. The sun is really nice today. It's just breaking through the trees. It's still fairly low, not right up high, and it makes for some lovely light. And we've got a few more ducks just hanging about. They seem to like it round the weirs. Still looking for that kingfisher. I've just shot 80 per second of a focal length for 400 at f5.6. Now 80th of the second at 400 realistically handheld is unheard of, but I need to see just how sharp these images are. Subject's hardly moving, it's literally floating. I've got it on a tracking focal setting. Should work out a treat. The reason why I chose this subject to test this at such a low shutter speed is just because its eye is orange and you should really be able to get a decent focus on it. It's just literally sitting there floating. just something about Bradgate Park that puts you in a peaceful place. It always has done with me, it always will. And this is why I love to test my equipment here, because where else is better? You've got birds, you've got deer, you've got people, you've got buildings, you've got landscapes. You cannot get it wrong. I love it. I've just spotted a female red deer, so I'm just coming off the track and I'm going to see if I can get some nice photos of her, because red deer to me are so beautiful. It's always great to get an image of a red deer when you come to Bradgate, because it's not always guaranteed. A lot of the time they go up into that area there, which is prohibited. You cannot go up there, it's only for the rangers. But what we got, August, September next month is the rutting season, and I think we'll be seeing plenty of red deer and stags in the morning, so that'll be worth looking into. I'll be definitely coming doing a video of that. Quick tip, 2 quick tips. Quick tip number 1, when you're walking through grass like this, be aware, because there are snakes here in Bradgate Park. There's adders and there's grass snakes. I'm not going to count my chickens and say I've never seen one, because I'll probably see one and it'll probably pounce on me and eat me. But no, there are, and that red deer just spied me. There she is. I don't know if you can see her, but look straight through, and there she is. Quick tip number 2, always walk along the edge of the water, because you never know what you're going to see. You never know what you're going to see. Now she realises, red deer, I'm not a threat. She is quite skittish, she's looking around. She started eating again, she looked at me, she started eating, and she looks quite comfortable. So I'm just going to stop vlogging and take some images. So I'm wondering, who would want a lens like this? Well, somebody like me that's got Bradgate Park, or any bird sanctuary or lake, stream, anything. It's great for portraits, it's great for racing, it's great for wildlife, it's great for absolutely everything. To me, I give this lens unbelievable out of unbelievable. And this is why I have a lens like this. Need I say any more? Now if I was to try and get any closer to this deer, I'm just going to upset the deer and it's just going to go. and we're not going to enjoy it. Where with a focal length of 100-400 at 400 with a crop sensor is 640, I believe, and that gives me enough reach to get beautiful detailed shots. And you know what, once you've done and you're happy, try and go a little bit nearer. Try it, but do you really need to? Not for wildlife, no. You see, it doesn't take much to get them skittish and moving on. All I've literally done is move from there to here. It's about knowing how far to allow yourself to get the shot. That's why we have focal lengths of 400 and upwards. So the park's starting to fill up now, and I feel satisfied that this lens is working a treat, and as well as it was before. I foolishly dropped it out of the boot of the car in Iceland. So I feel that Fuji have done a fantastic job, and thank you to FujiFilm for sorting my 100-400mm lens out, and it gives me the opportunity to come to places like this and carry on photographing it. Massive focal lengths. So with that being that, the only other thing to do is to get out and shoot. You know you want to. See you soon. Cheers.